OP 90.3 FM. I hope you're all having a beautiful weekend. Okay, so the Naija Landlord Show is your number one real estate investment talk show that gives you all the news updates, juicy information, trending updates, as well as the pros and cons of investing in the Nigerian real estate industry. Okay, so here we show you how to make real estate work for you. We show you how to make profitable real estate investment decisions. All right, so as usual, excited to be here. I am your humble host. My name is Amara Onzurike, and so happy to be here. I hope you're having a lovely weekend. If you have to work, I hope you're making yourself happy one way or the other. Okay, so it's good to be here, and we have an exciting topic that we're going to be talking about today. We're talking about something that really I think is crucial and really concerns every one of us, even as investors or as property owners. All right, so this is what we're going to be talking about today. The topic is property tax in Nigeria, all you need to know. Okay, and I'll be having a lawyer coming into the house who is going to be shedding more light on this topic. She's someone that is very experienced in this area, and she's going to be shedding more light on this topic. So property tax in Nigeria, all you need to know. So now that as someone, as an individual, you're not just paying tax. Paying tax doesn't just concern you as an employee or an employer of labor or a business owner. It also has to do with your property, right? You also have to do with your property. So paying tax has to do with anyone who is going to be investing in real estate in one way or the other. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about is benefits of tax. Benefits of paying of tax as an investor. That's one of the benefits we're going to be talking about, and we'll also look about other issues concerning payment of tax, right? Types of tax, what you should avoid, and all of that. So that's what we're going to be looking at. So I have my guest in the house. She's here in the studio. I'm going to be introducing her, and we'll dive right into the topic. Abigail Ojelabi is a lawyer, company secretary, and corporate governance practitioner. She has worked in engineering and technology sectors and has proffered investment, strategic business, and legal solutions to the firms she has worked with. She is the executive director of Habidel Foundation, a non-profit organization. She's passionate about helping women being healthy in all aspects of their life. She is a member of a number of professional bodies, which include the Female Lawyers in Real Estate Practice, the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, the Nigeria Bar Association Section on Business Law, and Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria. She is passionate about serving humanity. She is married, and the union is blessed with children. You're welcome, Abigail. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you, Mara. Good to be here.
Good to have you. And I must say that this is your second time here, right? Yeah. We've had you, that was last year, right?
Yes,
last year. So good to have you back. Good to have you back. Okay, so today our topic, property tax in Nigeria, all that you need to know. So I want to start from the definition, the basic. What is property tax?
Okay, property tax is a kind of payment you make to the government with respect to real property. Mm-hmm. Yes, because you have to be specific. It's not every disposable assets that will come under this. It has to be real property. Okay. For you to emit property tax. Okay. So like when you sell your land, your building, mm-hmm, that comes under real property. So it has to be real property. Yes. Somebody could say, okay, I own a yacht. I own vehicles. Are they not properties as well? Yes, those also are taxable, but because of the nature of the show, so I would want to restrict to that. So those are taxable. So when you sell your yacht, even when you sell your intellectual property, it is taxable too.
Okay, all right. So I just wanted to put more definition on that. Okay, so the tax. Let's talk about the legal framework of the property tax.
Okay.
So what is it all about? Like this tax comes under. I know it comes under the Land Use Acts law,
please.
right? And so why was this property tax brought into place?
Okay. By virtue of the Land Use Act, all lands in a state are vested in the governor of the state.
Okay.
So automatically, the governor owns the land in trust for other citizens. So in a situation where you want to actually have inherent right in the real property, you'll be needing the consent of the governor for every transaction. In fact, that's the genesis of this whole taxation thing. And for property tax, I want to be definite, real property tax.
Yeah.
There are two arms to it. The one that relates to the property itself and the one that relates to transaction relating to the property.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know about that,
So, for instance, if I'm selling my house and I make profits, a form of gain from it, then I'm expected to pay the capital gain tax. You understand?
Yeah.
Whereas if I am not selling, if I'm renting out or I'm making a lease of my property, the transaction that guides that lease or that rent is supposed to be registered, and I'm supposed to pay a form of tax for that too. That's why I said the transaction and the property. So those are the two arms to real property tax.
Talking to people, I noticed that this property tax and the different charges and the different uses could be quite confusing for the ordinary Nigerian. You understand? So I just want to tell you, can you tell us the major types of property tax that are available, because I know there are different types of tax. You just mentioned one. This is the property gain,
the capital
gain tax. So what about can you list others that are major for any property transaction?
Okay. With respect to capital gain tax, it's after the allowable expenses, then you also remove the cost of the property, the original cost of the property, then whatever is left will now be taxed.
Okay.
So then we have the withholding tax. So if, for instance, I am paying my rent to my landlord, ideally I'm supposed to remove 10% of that as an agent of the government receiving that tax on behalf of the government, then I remit to the government coffers. Yes, that's withholding tax. Then we also have development levy. This applies mostly to when you're trying to develop a property. Before you get the necessary permits and approvals, there are some payments you're expected to make. So that's a form of development levy. It's a form of tax too. Then we also have the land use charge. In fact, this is like a major headache for most landlords in Lagos. Like, why are they bringing this to me? And that's guided by the land use charge law. And it actually consolidates three different forms of payments that would have been made. The land rate, the tenement rate, and the development rates, like for like the area development and all. So they merged both the three into one. So, and it is calculated based on the location. That's why somebody in Ikoyi would possibly pay a higher land use charge than somebody in Egbeda, you understand? So that applies. Then of course too, we have the government consent. This guides transactions now. So if you are actually trying to transfer your property to somebody else, the person needs to get government consent if you have not got it. So there is a payment to be made in order to get that government consent, and it varies. Like in some states it's 10%, in other states it's 15% of the value of the property. You understand? So these are some of the major taxes. Then of course, when you are registering your transactions, like your lease agreement, your deed of assignment at the lands registry, you make payments for that. It's also a form of tax. Okay.
Thank you so much. That has been very, very, eye-opening. Okay, so I will open the phone lines. If you have any questions to ask our lawyer here on your tax payments and charges, just call in and ask your questions. Now the number to call is 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. Okay, so Abigail, I want to go on to property tax, the calculation. Okay, I know that it is being calculated on the value of the property, its location, and the intended use. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to ask, what are the methods of valuation? Like you say that the value of the property. Now someone can say, okay, I have a caller. Hello, good morning. Hello. I think we lost the call. Okay, please call back. The number to call is 0700 903 903 903. Please call in and ask your questions. So I want to ask them about the method of valuation. Are there any specific methods of valuation, or is it the property owners that get an estate valuer to just get the value of the property?
The government have people that value for the government. And the reason why this is so is because we all know if I'm asked to value my property and I know you're asking me to value because I'm going to be paying to the government, I want to reduce the value of that property.
Okay. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Welcome on the show. Please, what's your name?
My name is Shei. I'm calling from Ejigo.
All right, Shei, please go ahead to ask the question.
Okay, I just want to clarify something from the lawyer.
Okay.
When as a worker, when you're working in a company, and some amount of money is being deducted from your salary as a tax.
Okay.
Does it work like that, or is it how it's supposed to be as a person is going to be paid tax on salary? Is that the way you're supposed to pay it?
Are you working with a real estate company, or a real estate company? Okay, so you're
no, I'm not working with you. I'm not talking about real estate. I'm just talking
generally. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the question again? If it's been
the question is
right to be
charged as an employee, I have to pay tax.
Yeah.
Now, if he is the one deducting the tax on my behalf, is that the way it works?
Okay. Yeah, happy
So that's what I want to know.
Oh, thank you for your question. So, what you're actually paying is pay as you earn, payee.
Okay.
So the way it works is the employer removes that payment from your salary before paying to you, and then remits to the government coffers. So all you really need to be bothered about is your employer remitting to the government coffers. So you can find that out. If you have a tax ID number, you can always check it up to see if they've been remitting, and if they are not, you can actually take them up on it.
Okay, so you're supposed to have a tax ID number to verify that the payment is being made to the government. Okay, that's beautiful. All right, so I know that there's some property. Okay, I had a question that wasn't that we had. Okay, we have another caller. Hello, good morning. Hello, please turn down the volume of your radio set. Okay, we lost that call. Please, if you're calling in, turn down the volume of your radio set, and then please call back. Okay, so I said, you were answering that. I lost my train of thoughts there about of course, the government has people who do the valuation. Okay, are there specific method for different property types, for the commercial property or
they have their rate of calculation.
Okay.
So they would look at the location. I know the location comes to play. Then the nature of the structure of the property.
Okay.
For instance, if it's a duplex, the rate will be different from if it's just a bungalow. And all of that comes to play too.
Okay. Are there properties that are exempted from paying tax?
Well, for land use charge, there are some properties that are exempted.
Okay.
For instance, if the property is registered in the name of a religious body and it's used solely for worship.
Okay.
Yes. So the implication of this is if it's a religious body that owns it and maybe they are running a school and people are paying for that school, they won't be exempted.
Okay, so if you're not making any profit.
Except if you're not making profit. Like if it's a school that is free for all, they'll also be exempted. Then we have public burial spaces.
Okay.
You know, they're also exempted from having to pay the land use charge. Okay. Then also in a situation where basically it must not be for the benefit of the person that owns that property. For also, if I allow my property to be used, let's say for community service and things like that, and I'm not making any form of profit from it, I'll also be exempted from the land use charge. But you know, sometimes the government might not even know, so you might need to make them come to realization that you're supposed to be exempted from paying these taxes. Okay,
all right, that's beautiful. So that some people might not be aware, and then they go ahead to start paying off this tax. So I know that in addition to property tax, the government also imposes personal income tax, PIT, on property owners. This is tax imposed on individuals based on their total income in a year. I want to
so you are saying it as an accident of double taxation?
Yes, I think it's you're taxing them twice. They're paying personal income tax and they're paying again on their property. Is this right?
I would say that it is right.
Okay.
The personal income tax is applicable to everybody, whether you own property or you don't own property.
Okay.
While that one is exclusive to those that own property. So it's more or less like, okay, I'm paying tax for the benefits that I've gotten from the value that has accrued on this property. So, and it's just a percentage of what you're making. It's not like the huge sum. Like, for instance, I know in some states it's about 10%, for some 15%, 30%.
Okay.
of the profit you're making. You understand? So
Okay, because I know as a property owner, I'm going to feel some. I mean, I'm paying my income tax. Why should I pay?
because in fact, if you've not paid your personal income tax up to date, you will have to make that.
Yeah,
payment.
they say you have to make that payment
You
before
will.
you even do
You will have
that
to.
for the property.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so let's look at the side of the investor. I know that there are certain tax benefits that are being given to people to encourage investors to encourage investment in real estate, in buying of properties. Is that correct?
Well, as far as I know, when it comes to real property, I don't know of any tax relief.
Well, when I was reading up on the land use act, and it was saying that this one of their certain tax benefits that will be accrued to investors to encourage them investing in into buying into properties. And I know that I haven't seen anyone who has said they were exempted from any tax anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. As far as I know,
I was thinking, okay, maybe it's because maybe they are not aware, or there's maybe something they need to do.
in fact, the tax is even a major issue to discourage investments in real property, because when you look at, I have to pay for this, because I'm buying a land or I'm buying a house.
I even read somewhere that you have to pay tax for properties that you're selling. That's the capital gain, right?
Yeah.
And I also read that you have to pay for tax that are outside Nigeria, like you're a Nigerian, and then you have some property that you're selling it. So you're going to pay tax because of that is coming in as personal income.
Yes.
So you're going to pay
exactly.
some
So indirectly
taxes.
you
You're
pay
paying tax for that property that you sold that is not in Nigeria.
Except if the money doesn't come into your accounts, that can be if it doesn't come in directly, you might be exempted, but that would be legal.
Okay. So now let's look at some real estate companies that they have to pay. They are paying tax for the property itself. They're paying tax for others as a company for operating as a company, doing business as a company, and also they're also paying tax for every transactions that they make. Okay. Then they also pay, of course, their workers also who are realtors who make transactions, who bring in these customers and make transactions, also pay tax on that. So it's like it's a heavy tax duty on business owner. This is I think it's not going to be encouraging for someone who's looking to start up a real estate company, a real estate business in Nigeria. What are your thoughts on this?
I would say that basically the government really needs to look into the issue of taxation in Nigeria, because for most of these taxes, they are kind of burdensome, and for most people they don't even understand what they need to do.
Because at the end of the day, the effect of these payments, these are being taxed on the individuals who are coming to buy that property.
Exactly.
So indirectly, it is the everyday Nigerian, the ordinary Nigerian that are paying for this tax.
Exactly, because if I'm a real estate company, for instance, it's the people coming to buy that would make sure they pay that money. Yeah. So I could just have paid up front on their behalf. So basically, the government has to look into it and make it more reasonable and easier for people to pay. So that way, people don't evade paying their taxes. If you look at most land transactions, they are not even registered. Yeah. Deed of assignment, there are so many that are not registered at the registrar of land's office, and then you'll be wondering why. Because people are trying to avoid having to pay. But if the payment is low or made more affordable, I'm sure people will be willing to do the needful.
Yeah, and this would also help in avoiding all these fraudulent activities.
Exactly.
People not doing the proper documentations and filing necessary documents for their properties.
You are right.
Right. So I know that some people are saying that it takes a lot of paperwork, even the people that want to pay. Exactly. There's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of bureaucracy processes involved in paying of these taxes, and it's like a burden on this. Now, one of the benefits of this tax, like that was stated in the Land Use Act, was to for infrastructural development and improving public services, like parks, hospitals, and all of that. There's a school of thought. There are opinions out there that this is not properly being effected. Developers are still having to develop the surrounding of those estates and properties that they have. They have to, you know, upgrade the road. They have to put in the gutters and the drainages. What are your thoughts on this?
You're right. The purpose of tax is supposed to be for development, infrastructural development purposes. And if you look at the country we are in, a lot of this is actually not in place. A good example is the Lekki-Ajah road. It's in the Surrey state. You know, the traffic on that road every day is crazy.
I understand that there's some construction going on right now at the Songotedo area.
Yes, they've done some bits, you know. So that's part of the challenges. And look at how much it costs to buy real property around that area and all.
Yeah, quite expensive.
You know, even for the real estate property companies that, you know, have estates and are trying to develop the estates and all of that. And maybe personal efforts from some other development associations. But the government needs to do more.
The government definitely needs to do more.
If I am a taxpayer and I'm seeing the benefit of paying my tax, I'll feel encouraged to pay.
Yeah.
Because I know my money is actually speaking.
Right. Thank you so much, Abigail. Our time is up. I'm afraid we have to go. If you have any questions, you can send them to our WhatsApp number. Then we'll, you know, take up the questions next time. The conversations continues on our YouTube channel. You know, log in and check us out on the YouTube channel. It's such a pleasure being here. So we'll be here back same time next week. Do have a beautiful weekend. My name is Amara Onzurike. Stay blessed.